All right, I'd like to welcome everyone to today's Board of Ed meeting on July 1st. Time now is 6:30. Please rise for the pledge of allegiance.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
I'd like to make a motion that we enter into executive session for the purpose of discussing personnel matters.
Do I have a second? Mr. Garcia, all in favor?
All in favor, motion passed. Okay. Oh, they can- oh, no, they're gonna reconvene. David, ready? Okay.
I move that we reconvene the vote session. Second,
Mr. Garcia, all in favor?
All in favor, motion carried.
Everyone, please rise for the pledge.
To the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Mrs. Ryan, the first one is the administration of oath of office to the new board trustees.
Ms. Al, if you'd stand, please. I state your name,
I, Ken Auer,
do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will support
that I will support
the Constitution of the United States
the Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution of the State of New York,
and the Constitution of the State of New York,
and that I will faithfully discharge
and I will faithfully discharge
the duties of Board of Education trustee
the duties of the Board of Education trustee
according to the best of my ability.
according to the best of my ability.
Thank you. Okay. And Ms. Monticello. I state your name,
I, Mr. Monticello,
do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will support
I will support
the Constitution of the United States,
the Constitution of the United States,
the Constitution of the State of New York,
the Constitution of the State of New York,
and that I will faithfully discharge
and I will faithfully discharge
the duties of Board of Education trustee
the duties of Board of Education trustee
according to the best of my ability.
according to the best of my ability.
Thank you. Congratulations. Okay, and now I will take nominations for the office of the president for the 25-26 school year. Ms. Garcia,
Mr. President,
President.
I'd like to nominate Mr. Joseph Bay Rudy for president.
Ms. Fayrudy, do you accept?
Yes.
Are there any other nominations? Okay, so Mr. Garcia made the motion.
I make a motion to name Mr. Joseph Bay Rudy president for the upcoming year.
Okay, and this is the one motion that doesn't need a second. Thank you. Okay. You stand. I state your name,
I, Joseph A. Rudy,
do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will support
that I will support
the Constitution of the United States
the Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution of the State of New York,
and the Constitution of the State of New York,
and that I will faithfully discharge
and I will faithfully discharge
the duties of Board of Education President
the duties of Board of Education President
according to the best of my ability.
according to the best of my ability.
Thank you. Congratulations. Thank you.
There's no other.
nomination.
Okay, and now nominations for the office of the Vice President of the Board for the 25-26 school year. Mrs. Versace,
I'd like to nominate Mr. Morrissey.
Ms. Marcy, do you accept? Okay, any other nominations? Okay,
So I'd like to make a motion to vote for Mr. Morrissey for vice president.
okay, like I said, it doesn't need a second. Congratulations, and right there. I state your name,
I, Mr. Morrissey,
do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will support
that I will support
the Constitution of the United States
the Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution of the State of New York,
and the Constitution of the State of New York,
and that I will faithfully discharge
and that I will faithfully discharge
the duties of Board of Education Vice President
the duties of Board of Education Vice President
according to the best of my ability.
according to the best of my ability.
Congratulations. And you want to keep going with it?
Yeah, please.
Okay, Dr. Selena, please stand to be sworn in as superintendent of schools. I state your name,
I, Edward A. Selena Jr.,
do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will support
that I will support
the Constitution of the United States
the Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution of the State of New
and
York,
the Constitution of the State of New York,
and that I will faithfully discharge
and I will faithfully discharge
the duties of superintendent of schools
the duties of superintendent of schools
according to the best of my ability.
according to the best of my ability.
Thank you. Yep. Thank
Thank
you. Okay, and now I need a motion to accept items A through, items A, 1 through 4, under the appointment of officers. Motion? Mr. Morrissey, second?
Second.
Ms. Pasquarello? Thank you. Okay,
All in favor?
Mrs. McCarthy, please stand.
Wait a minute, Ms. Ryan,
Yes.
all in favor, correct?
Oh, I'm sorry, all in favor? 7 in favor, motion carried.
Thank you.
Okay, I state your name,
I, Teresa McCarthy,
do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will support
that I will support
the Constitution of the United States
the Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution of the State of New York,
and the Constitution of the State of New York,
and that I will faithfully discharge
and that I will faithfully discharge
the duties of District Treasurer
the duties of District Treasurer
according to the best of my ability.
according to the law.
Thank you. Dr. Levesque, please stand. I state your name,
I, Levin,
do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will support
that I will support
the Constitution of the United
the
States
Constitution of the United States,
and the Constitution of the State of New York,
the Constitution of the State of New York,
and that I will faithfully discharge
will faithfully discharge
the duties of Assistant District Treasurer
the duties of Assistant District Treasurer
according to the best of my ability.
to the best of my ability.
Thank you. Mrs. McCarthy, once again, I state your name,
I, Teresa McCarthy,
do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will support
that I will support
the Constitution of the United States
the Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution of the State of New York,
and the Constitution of the State of New York,
and that I will faithfully discharge
and that I will faithfully discharge
the duties of Assistant District Clerk
the duties of Assistant District Clerk
according to the best of my ability.
according to the best
You. And now it's Teresa's turn.
I state your name,
I, Maureen Ryan,
do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution of the State of New York,
and the Constitution of the State of New York,
and that I will faithfully discharge
and that I will faithfully discharge
the duties of District Clerk
the duties of District Clerk
according to the best of my ability.
according to the best of my ability. Thank you. Thank you.
Take over, oh, this is other appointments.
Yeah.
All right, do I have a motion to approve other appointments? Mr. Hour, second. Mr. Garcia, all in favor?
All in favor, motion carried.
Okay, oh, sorry, the designations. Do I have a motion to approve, items under number 6, the designations of newspapers and banks? Mr. Morrissey, second.
Second.
Pasquarello, all in favor?
All in favor, motion carried.
Authorizations. Do I have a motion to approve the item under authorizations? Mr. Morrissey, second. Mr. Garcia, all in favor?
All in favor, motion carried.
Under other items, do I have a motion to approve the items under the annual policy review? Mr. Howard, what? Did you do that? What? Yeah, that's what I just called. Oh, all right. Under other items, do I have a motion to approve items 1 through 3?
All right, so Mr. Hour made the motion.
Yep. Second, Mr. Garcia, all in favor?
All in favor, motion carried.
Do I have a motion to adjourn the organizational meeting? Mrs. Fauci, second. Mr. Garcia, all in favor?
All in favor, motion carried.
All right.
That night.
They just need to call,
Motion to,
but you don't need, just call the other meeting to
all
order.
right, I'll call to the order the regular business session of the meeting. Time now 7:45. I'm going to turn it over to Dr. Selena for superintendent's comments.
Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen of the board, those people joining us remotely, those people that are here with us tonight, welcome and welcome to the 2025-26 school year. Also, welcome to our new board trustees, Mr. Ken Hour, Mr. Michael Ponticello. Thank you for joining us this evening for your service. Tonight, I have just a couple of comments to make. I just wanted to bring the board up to speed that in compliance with the New York State Governor's free and the free lunch and breakfast program, we will be serving breakfast and lunch. Although in general, we have found that we do a survey on an annual basis and we don't have any interest inside of a breakfast program, but we'll have a grab and go program, which will have food available for children in the morning. We'll see how it goes, and we'll be asking for an update probably about 2 months in after we get established. I think I'm going to ask them to do it in October, so mid-October to end of October, depending where the meetings fall. If not, the latest November, to kind of like talk a little bit about where we are with that. There also was a request to talk a little bit more about food quality and such. I did share with the board previously that during the months of COVID, we rang like 50,000 meals because everything was free. So we are going to be closely monitoring this for staffing, right? To be sure that, if there is an increase because we're now offering free breakfast and free lunch, we may need to have staffing adjustments. We'll need to increase the size of the kitchen staff. So we'll be monitoring that, and I'll be meeting on a weekly basis. Parents will be informed for the opening of school that there is both available. So we'll be looking forward to offering that. I've been working with our food service director and Peter about how we're going to be opening. So we look like we're in great shape. And but I want to just let you know that we are participating and we'll be fully compliant with the New York State Ed law and the changes that Governor Hochul will put in place.
And it's for every income level and it's for every
free.
student.
Universal free.
All of our students, all 20.
Yep. So we're going to see what happens. Interesting tidbit. We actually, for free lunches versus how much we actually had charged for lunches previously, we actually took in more money from the free lunches from the state program than we did actually for what we were charging people to buy the lunches here for reimbursement purposes. Remember, we're a nonprofit. We're not supposed to be making money, right? So, we obviously need to be sure that we continue that. That's a requirement according to New York State Ed law. And there are, we did do all the lines this year with finances that had come from COVID experience that we had, that was from grants, and that we redid all 3 lines inside the elementary schools for refrigeration and heated areas, similar to match what the high school had here and what the middle school already had. So we did liquidate that in compliance with what was one of the findings that was brought to our attention by the state, as far as we had money that was up and above our break even. So you're not supposed to profit. And we had taken in more money that was as a result of the reimbursement rate that we received from the state when they were offering free food to everyone. So there was a silver lining on that one. We were able to do our all of our elementary school lines, so they look beautiful. Great job, great supervision by obviously Ed and the entire staff. We have a great group of people. Capital projects updates. The high school music suite continues. We will be open for September. Everything is on order. We expect, that the parking lot will come together in the next week and a half to 2 weeks. So you'll see the front of the building restored back to normal sidewalks, blacktop, lining. The interior continues. We still have a number of, the site work's going to start now. The ceiling grids are complete. All lights are installed inside the interior at this point in time. AC is up and running. They're running the systems and testing the systems now. Obviously, All of our facilities are fully air conditioned at this time. The bathrooms have been renovated. If you're ever in the music bathrooms back in the day, if you were a person that came to school here and you know what those bathrooms look like, there'll be a stark difference. They look beautiful. They're very bright. Very happy to be able to add those 2 bathrooms in that area and renovate them over again. We have we're waiting on back orders for doors at this point in time, so you'll see wood inside of all the frames for the exterior doors. Still a back order on that. We're hoping in the next 4 to 6 weeks for those things to arrive. In the meantime, you have to enter in from the inside of the building. It's not occupiable according to fire code until those are actually complete. So we'll keep pushing our vendors for that. Plainedge Middle School field update, sorting bathrooms, Flower Road repavement. Those bids are on the street. The bid opens on the 30th of July. It's usually a 5-week process from that point in time. So, obviously we want to be sure that we can get this work done as soon as possible. We haven't awarded it to anybody, so the board, that's the trigger for the board. When I ask you to award something, that means that we've gone through the bid process. The bids have been evaluated by our attorneys for the lowest responsible bidder. Those people that were ineligible are eliminated according to law in accordance. And we'll look to execute those jobs as quickly as possible. We have a new athletic director. For the first year, he'll be probably scrambling. The middle school field will probably be unavailable. I want to start that field as quickly as possible and end that job. So we'll be working on it as soon as we can break ground. I met with the middle school administration. They're on board. They understand the benefits that they're about to receive as well. We saw that great benefit this year at the John H. West Elementary School. We've gotten many compliments about that facility, especially from the teaching staff, about, the things that they can do and the way that grounds are in order to work on them. Previously, they dealt with a lot of mud, they dealt with a lot of rain conditions, et cetera, with the drainage that's been installed from turf. We've elongated the time, and we've had great feedback from the community as well. That will happen over at the middle school, so we're excited about that to happen. So we're waiting for these things to come in. When we get them, obviously, I may call a special meeting for the board just to come together to approve these bids so that we can award the bids and get them back on to the vendors that win. Elementary middle school libraries demolition starts on July 14th. You did award them at the last board meeting. Middle school library will relocate to the 3rd floor temporarily in order to provide services. They have the space on the 3rd floor. So they'll be working out of there, which, we're happy for. All librarians will be mobile inside the elementary schools for the period of time. We expect them by Christmas of 2025 to open up again, if not sooner. So they're going to move as rapidly as possible. Peter and I and Mr. Prochaska did meet for the kickoff meeting earlier last week. They understand the rules of engagement, what needs to be done and when they're able to operate. Obviously it's not to interfere with the school day. The only school that, will be the most challenging will be John H. West because there's no exterior access. So, but we'll be working outside of the regular school day hours when the schools are closed in that one facility. West Schwarting Middle School, new playgrounds and middle school security fencing, final design phase submission SET is going in. These projects usually move at a rapid pace because they're not major infrastructure. They are standalone units. So we should be able to, so that we can get the aid out of it, expedite those. We have queued up with young equipment, the people that we purchased all the playgrounds from. They will be able to deliver those rapidly. So we should be able to get that work done as quickly as possible. The good thing is with the way that the John H. West is, we still have access to the fields for the months of September and October before Thanksgiving. So if the PE still wants to go outside, they'll still be able to go outside. As far as playground for lunch and such, we'll be able to use the main fields, but as the playground will be fenced off when construction starts. But we'll advise the board when we get that. You'll know about it because we have to award it still. And we'll go through a contract on it. It's not an award. We can go off the state contract, all right, depending on what's legal. And we have access to those, and that's Peter's and the attorney's job. So they're going in the final design phase submission for those. That concludes for right now where we are for things that are in motion for this summer, because I think it's important that we be on the same page. So when people ask us, people know what's going to be happening. We've met with the administrators already. They've informed staff that may be potentially impacted. The libraries came at the 12th hour, but no time is a good time. All right. And everybody wants their work done during the month of July and August. It's just impossible. There's only so many firms that actually provide services to schools for construction. All right. And we've got some really good firms that are working on this. These people look like they're very serious. We haven't worked with them before, so we're excited about the 4 libraries to get those up and running. So we'll see as it goes and as it goes along. That concludes capital projects at this point in time, unless there's questions from the board.
I just want to see if maybe you can send out that summary to us.
Absolutely,
You were pretty quick, and I think I got most of it, but there might have been something I missed.
absolutely.
Thank you.
Not an issue whatsoever. That concludes superintendent's remarks at this point then. I could go on about the 9 moving up and exercises that we held last week. I would like to compliment the staff, the administration, the parents, the children, of course. It was beautiful. And obviously, you know, one of my highlights of the year is always to go to high school graduation. I've been going to high school graduation now for about 30 years, I think. So I've graduated a number of times, and it's always been an honor to be there and to be able to speak to the families and to the students and to see and hear their stories about where they're going and how they're going to make Plainedge continue to be so proud for all the amazing opportunities that they've been presented by being in our schools here. So I will tell you this, you know, it's last week is really a culmination of literally 13 to 14 years of commitment of the Plainedge Public Schools and those families that have come here, choosing to live here and to educate their children with us here. So very proud week last week. And of course, all the concerts that came up before that, but I'll leave it at that for right now. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Dr. Sanders. Moving on to routine approvals. Do I have a motion to approve the minutes of the June 12th, 2025 board meeting? Mr. Marcy, second.
Second.
Pascarello, all in favor? Opposed?
So,
Abstentions?
okay, 5-0 approved, 2 abstentions, motion carried.
Do I have a motion to approve warrant reports 131 through 133 and 135? Mr. Garcia, second. Mr. Marcy, in favor?
Okay, all in favor, motion carried.
Do I have a motion to approve the treasurer's report for May 2025?
Moved.
Mr. Garcia, second. Mrs. Versace, all in favor?
All in favor, motion carried.
Thank you. Moving on to discussion and presentations, public hearing of the 2025-2026 district safety plan.
This time I'll turn it over to Dr. LaValliere, who'll just give us a recap on that. This is a requirement according to New York State education law. There are no changes. They're basically, it's just going to be a statement of fact that the district is offering this at this point in time as required by law.
Good evening. Good evening, everybody. As we discussed at the last board meeting, each year, the district develops comprehensive safety plans. Part of 2000, the governor enacted the Project SAFE program, Safe Schools Against Violence in Education Act. Part of that requirement requires schools to develop both district level plans and also building level plans. Building level plans are very detailed, they are confidential, and those are developed by our building administration. They frequently conduct drills in conjunction with first responders, the staff. They debrief after, and our in-house security force, always looking to improve safety here, obviously paramount. Both students and staff, you know, protect them and to go home every day safely. So we did meet as a committee, part of the committee for the 25-26 school year. Garcia for participating as a Board of Education representative. We had law enforcement, fire, both at Page and Massapequa, parents on the committee, our staff members on the committee, and just appreciate how they participated in that. Obviously, your feedback to our district and our safety plans is always valued. We had a lot of great questions and debate. The draft plan of the district level plan is published on the website currently. It was posted after our meeting with the committee, and it'll be up there for 30 days for public commentary as required. After that, we will bring it back to the board in the August meeting for final approval, and then we will post the final version of it and on the website, and then post it up with the state ed and get law enforcement agencies as required. Thank you.
Thank you.
And then any comments, on public commentary to be directed to the district clerk. And she'll collect those and then provide feedback for any suggestions or modifications. Thank you.
Moving on to item number 2, policy 4526, acceptable use plan, first reading. I'll turn it over to the policy committee members if they have any words they want to talk about this?
This didn't actually come through the policy committee
No, it's the
necessarily.
law. So
Uh,
this-
So this policy will comply with the law with the new changes to the cell phone policy. So it actually came directly from the lawyer. I wouldn't mind taking another look at this maybe in 3 or 6 months. I assume after they implement it, administration may need some changes, but at this point, there's nothing really to discuss.
Great, thank you.
According to state, New York State Ed law, by July 1st, all school districts must adopt, sorry, we're ahead of schedule, August 1st. You need to adopt the bell to bell, and that's what this covers, just so we're in, we want to make sure we're in compliance. Thank you. I think that's revisiting with a good idea.
Moving on to item number 3, New York State School Board Association resolutions. So, just to kind of give a little bit of background on this, NISBA, which is kind of our advocacy arm as well as education arm for New York State school boards. Every year they'll canvass school boards to see if there's any resolutions they want to put forth in terms of advocacy efforts. So, you know, members of the board were asked if there were any resolutions they wanted to draft. We didn't come up with any, but I had some board members from other districts reach out to me to see if we can put them in front of the board to see if we're willing to sign on to these resolutions. So prior to the meeting, the board received copies of these proposed resolutions. And so just wanted to gather feedback as to whether we're okay on signing on all of them, or if there's any items you want to discuss before we agree to sign our names onto any of these resolutions. So I'm going to open it up to the floor.
I had reviewed them all, and although our support certainly doesn't mean any of them will get passed, it is the way to advocate for change on a state level, and I was comfortable with them all, and I would, you know, I'm happy to support them as an individual member.
Any other comments?
I think just touching upon what you said is that, you know, all of these come from other districts, and districts has varied. You know, Locust Valley, Massapequa, Hicksville, different sizes, different demographics. You know, none of these are solely beyond the pale. Kind of, in many of them, common sense. You know, the electric busing, for instance, local authority. We weren't really not stepping outside of reasonable, rational, you know, thought here with these resolutions. And like what Mr. Garcia said, I don't know that our signing on to any of them is going to do anything other than get them potentially shut down by NISBA. But, you know, we advocated against regionalization earlier in the year. We teach our students to you know, to lead with pride and to stand up for what they believe in. And this is how we as a board, with our own advocacy organization, stand up for what we believe in.
Absolutely agree with that. Any other comments?
I read through them all and I'm on board with all of them. Especially like the one where resolutions submitted by member school boards be brought to a full vote of the membership without the poo-pooing of the resolutions committee, you know, so
Yes.
I think that's something that a lot of local districts were looking at to do. See if it passes.
For a motion here?
No, I think
No,
it's
you
just
do
consensus.
consensus.
Yeah, it's just consensus. So it seems like, I think we have consensus to put our names to it. So I guess we'll move forward with that.
Okay.
Mrs. Ryan, will you
Yeah, I take care of that.
take care of that?
Yep.
Okay. All right, thank you. Moving on to the fourth item here, Transportation Committee. So this is one of the things that I raised. Obviously, over the course of the past year, we've heard a lot about busing in general in terms of certain people who live outside the zone of what's allowed legally, or rather possibly by Plan Edge standards, what has been passed in prior resolutions or referendums. That there are people who maybe live outside those zones, but maybe they should be considered for busing because of safety concerns. One of them is people who live south of Jerusalem Avenue with respect to not receiving bus service. Another one is north of the Southern State Parkway. who don't receive bus service to the high school. So those types of, if we're looking to change the radiuses, that would require us to put that out to vote. The other one is obviously late buses, which is always a hot topic every year. And so my goal with the transportation committee is to actually set up a committee that would be similar to other committees that we've set up for this purpose to study it. Similar to armed security, which is solely focused on this one topic, and made up basically the same group of people that we've had for the armed security committee. Obviously, we'll go out to the public, gauge interest, try to get people from the public involved. I don't know if the PFT also would be nominating teachers to this, but basically want to try to get information from people and try to come forward or come out of that committee with recommendations, if any. And what I'd like it to be is hopefully a holistic approach. So for example, late buses. I think one of the things that's always hard to do is figure out when we'll run late buses. And that's because, you know, there's lots of different schedules in terms of when coaches might end practices, and maybe that's dictated by field usage. So I think we have to take a holistic approach to looking at late buses and trying to understand, is this something that's actually feasible? If it's feasible, what does that model look like, and what does the cost associated with all of this look like before we put it out to vote? So, yeah, sure, please, Dr.
Maybe Rudy, some comments. The district hired a travel consultant, basically a transportation consultant. We've already done this. We've been through this once before. I'm happy to do it again. I highly recommend this. Is not while the committee may be there, you're going to need to hire a consultant, a transportation consultant to come in order to do a study. And it'll be two separate studies. One will actually be the first topic that you had spoken about. We use John Robinson, and that's from School Technologies. And John's been basically a figurehead in multiple companies throughout Long Island. And he could also do the other study as well. And then they could have data in order to be based upon what the possibilities are. Obviously, we'd have to allocate the finances in order to do that again. We used a different company last time, but knowing John knows the landscape of Long Island and the requirements, and he works for Suffolk Transportation, which is one of the largest bus companies. He's a consultant for them as well. I would highly recommend that we put together some proposal with him in order for him to begin a study and give him a clear definition about what we're looking for him to study. And I believe that he did work with, I met with John, with Peter, when this topic first came up. He did work with Massapequa in order to have that discussion. So he is the travel consultant that was on that, so he has familiarity with that. I highly recommend that you hire John and Mr. Robinson. And, he is an authority, like I said before, and he knows the landscape of the transportation business. So, Peter, if you have anything additional to add to that.
I just want to point out that when you offer late buses in district, you have to offer them to the parochial schools also. So this is a bigger topic than
it's
just
not-
plain edge. And also, there's transportation aid that we receive, and if you start going on to certain limits, you start losing transportation aid on the bus mileage that you may be considering if you can't classify these zones as safety zones. And safety zones, from what John told us, are very difficult to pass muster on.
Right, and all these things would be discussed.
Yeah.
In the committee, what you're suggesting, Dr. Selena, is working in parallel, hire Mr. Robertson to start to launch a study, set up the committee. I think the Armed Security Committee was very successful, a thought exchange tool to solicit community input.
In the end, there are districts that have moved to universal busing. They've just passed the buck on to the community. They've given every single kid a bus. That's always an option in the end. So these are things that he'll propose, and finances associated with those things. So he gives you multiple
The
options.
one thing we're not considering, though, is the availability of drivers.
Yeah, well, that's a whole nother problem.
But again,
that's-
working from, as you said, working from a point of data and statistics. and
Yes.
Having this and having a presentation. We
He's
were
very
given-
good.
We were given multiple options with armed security, and I think Mr. Garudi's point, we kind of envisioned
Yeah.
this working very similar. We would be given options from do nothing to
Right.
plus everyone.
And in the end, it will not be the board's choice in the end. The board's choice will be to put a proposition before the public if they would like to increase their taxes in order to provide these services. So that's where it ends up in the end, after this happens, but I want to be clear with everybody about the process legally, how it works.
Right, and I think it makes sense to involve the community and the public in the process.
But we need an expert that knows this.
We're gonna ask them to.
I don't think there's a district that Mr. Robinson hasn't worked in. He's very well respected.
He's outstanding.
Yeah.
I would tell you, he just knows, and he can run whatever models you want. Very experienced, I can't anybody better.
So is the idea that we set up the committee and he would be one of the,
Yeah, I would solicit, yeah. Well, I would get together with John over the summer with Peter and also Mr. McCarthy from the Transportation Department. We come up with what we believe the goals are. We share them back to the board to be sure that the goals are clear about what we're looking to do. And then he'll work up multiple iterations and models that, for us to consider. I'd like to bring the committee, obviously, most people are in and out all summer long. You'd want to be set up and ready to rock in the first week or two of school with getting people in, getting people to sign up. Those people that are interested, and remember, we want to get representation, so we'll come up with that for the August meeting, the participation, what we think it looks like, and then you'll comment on that, we'll make modifications, we'll put it out to the community. There also was a request earlier this year to not just simply have a sign-up sheet, to basically be able to take a look at people's skills and interest levels, so we're exploring that as we speak over the summer, to come up with something, so it's not just basically signing up and saying, yeah, I want to be on the Transportation Committee. There needs to be a little more for any of the committee, so we're looking for a little deeper dive. We're going to propose something during the month of August. As long as that's what the board wants.
Yeah, I'm certainly in favor of that. I think it's important to get it right more than it is to speed along. It's funny, you don't realize this until you do, that when your kids are in school, everything feels like every year that's missed is like a big loss. But it wasn't that long ago it was tried, so if it's gonna get done, if we're gonna look at it, I wanna take a real close, careful look with as much information as we can. But that outline sounds good to me.
I appreciate it. I
Okay.
think that's well laid out.
We're on it.
Excuse me, moving on to, I'm sorry, did anyone else have any comments on that or? No, okay. So moving on to curriculum committee, the reason why I added this is, obviously we talked about the portrait of a graduate curriculum committee, and my understanding is that's kind of the requirements around that, the specifications around it have changed. So that's kind of been put on pause. Nonetheless, I think there are items with respect to the curriculum that, people have expressed concerns to me in various places. I have my own observations from a parent perspective, right? So I'm not an expert, don't pretend to be, but I think it would be good to try to set up a curriculum committee where we revisit some of the items with respect to reading, writing, spelling, math, some of those foundational skills to make sure that, we think that children are getting what they need. Because I think what we see in school, sometimes what we see at home is different. One of the things that has been a particular concern is maybe overusage of the Chromebook, especially at the elementary levels. So again, I have my own personal view. I'm sure there's plenty of people who have different points of view. But I think it would be good to set up a committee similar to other ones where we have all different types of stakeholders involved that can look at this, analyze it, and if changes is viewed as probably the best way forward in some areas, then we effectuate that by presenting that information to the board and hopefully statistics to back that up so that we can move it forward. So I'll pause there, see if anyone else has any comments.
Most successful curriculum committees are those where basically we identify topics for exploration. They're prepared by administration, basically give us a baseline of what we're doing today so people can become informed that are participating inside the committee itself. People that are interested in curriculum and changing curriculum or talking about the curriculum to better understand it are able to offer their opinions. You can always share opinions. If there are surveys that need to be completed, thought exchange, we have a number of different tools these days. The bottom line obviously is that, the educational staff is always listening because the public is paying in the sense of that's their responsibility. At the same time, there's a lot of rumors. I don't deal in rumors, I deal in reality. And what people may be seeing at home, perhaps we're not seeing in school and vice versa. So I think that would be a good way, if this is something that we'd like to talk about, there's nothing wrong with that, and that we should continue to inform and let those people that participate that are interested and eligible, let them sign up. There's no secrets about public education. We're happy to be here every day. The proof is in the numbers. graduation rates, the performance rates, right? All you need to do is take a look at this. Graduation the other night, talked to a number of parents. Kids are getting out of here 20 to 40 credits for college, going to trade schools, going to the military, high success rate. Housing's never been better, right? They continue to come for the schools. Pre-K program's been added in as well, as you know. So we're offering a pre-K 12 continue. We're very proud of the programs that we have here. People choose to come, right? And that's important. But we need to be listening always to the heartbeat of our community in Plain Edge, and we will continue to do so, and happy to talk about any of the programs, and that'll fall under curriculum instruction, and that will be their charge. So we'll come up with the topics, et cetera, and we'll deliver the presentations, and then we'll take the comments.
Quick question. So we're really talking about now, portrait of a graduate committee would be its own and separate entity,
What's
Just to
required?
do that.
It's a requirement
Right.
by law, yeah.
but then we would have a separate, so that might actually,
This could be an ongoing one, meets periodically throughout the year, et cetera. I mean, talk about topics.
I think the idea is, similar to the capital planning advisory committee. We have,
We'll draft it up. Should be easy enough.
Yeah, I mean, I think we have some level of information about parents' probably thoughts through the end of year surveys that are sent out through Parent Square. Maybe it can be supplemented with more directed questions on thought exchange. But again, I think it's helpful. It's different when you're just filling out a survey, I feel like, on Parent Square versus actually people getting in a room and discussing some of those things. So having live discussion about it where there's more of a flow of conversation, I think would be helpful because, you're filling out a survey, but there's no response back. Whereas in an environment where you have a committee, you can have a little bit of a back and forth and respectful dialogue to really try to hone in on maybe exactly what maybe the missing link might be between what's happening at home and what's happening at school. And that's really what my hope is for this, is to help bridge that gap, because maybe parents are seeing from one thing, but they're not taking into account this other thing that the curriculum and instruction professionals are seeing. So I think that'll help us fine tune a little bit better.
I would also like to bring up the fact that, our teachers are second to none. They have conversations with parents on a regular basis about their individual child. I would urge any parent that has any concerns specifically about their child's program, use of technology, or anything related with their educational program, that they continue to have those are ongoing professional discussions between the teacher and the parents as well. Obviously, every parent's an advocate for their child. So the idea of bringing people together and to hearing about it, debating it, and having discussion is wonderful. Taking feedback and figuring out. But one of the things that I was really amazed at through the thought exchange is that the truth of the matter is, in the end, only 20 people participate in these committees, all right? It could be as many as 40, the same people show, right? By opening this up, by allowing people to have public comment on these things, we're allowing people on their own time schedule to offer us feedback. So we have to carefully design these surveys, right? So we can solicit the information back, and it brings together, in the end, you saw the pros and cons when we did the armed security. It merges those ideas together, so it emboldens and empowers all the families who may not be able to have the time to come in a room and have a discussion and a discourse. And it also ensures that there's a good cross-section of people that are represented inside of it, and it's monitored. So for comments and such like that, which I think is important. So I was very impressed with the results of that tool. I do know that a number of school districts around us, Plainville page rants about it, says all the great things that it's done for them in order to give them feedback about what the community thinks. So I think that, combined with having discourse and being presented with the information about what we are doing, many times this information is what leads us down that path. All right, people believe, I heard this, or I heard that, and we're not doing this. I think we should be definitive. We should tell people, and clarify what we are doing in the specific areas that we'll explore together as a group.
All right. Any other comments or? No. Moving on to item number 6, audit committee job specification. So as it may or may not be known, Mr. Caruso, who's been the chair of the audit committee for longer than anyone who's been sitting up here, he's expressed in moving on and transitioning the role to someone new. So my idea was to put together kind of a job specification and put out to the community, solicit resumes and interest, and then have them come in, meet with them, and then appoint someone to that position. With respect to the job specifications, I think,
Put something together.
yeah, Dr. Selena, Mr. Prazo, Mr. Crusoe could probably put something together and give it to the board to review, and then we can shop that out.
And I also recommend, which was a suggestion earlier, was that we put an alternate in place so we don't run into the situation where we can't start the meeting. So that's something easy to do. As a person that could serve as a co.
So it'd be two people now.
Yep.
Well, it could be,
Could be anybody that's
it
here.
could be
that's
the
on the
president
committee.
of the Board of
Could be the
Education.
president of Board of Education.
Okay, I know a little bit of finance and accounting.
Oh, okay. This would be a good thing.
Especially, I think Joe's been our one and only chairperson.
Oh,
of
really?
The audit committee. I think it came about
Yes.
after Rosalind.
Yeah.
And
It's
he's
20 years.
It's over 20 years, right?
right.
Been around about 20 years, yes.
20 years.
It's
Done a
okay.
fine job.
Hangs up his head.
Outstanding.
Do you recommend that we nominate the alternate tonight?
Well, we're not going to have any meetings until after, so it's not necessary.
Okay.
I don't think it is any,
And speaking with Joe, he said he's, willing to stay on board as long as
as long as we need him. He's not running out the door.
Okay.
Oh, yeah, and he's not going
He's not
anywhere.
running out.
Okay.
We got time.
It's not like he was ready to.
No, he had something going on. That night he had something going on. I'm sorry.
Okay, all right.
That's not who he is. Listen, he's
Oh, no, I wasn't talking.
very timely.
When he mentioned to me that he was looking to transition.
Yeah.
I asked him, I spoke to him one-on-one about that, and he said, no, not tomorrow, I mean, but I want to put it out there. And I was like, right.
All right.
He goes, I'm getting older. I said, and I said, no reason.
By the time you bring it up, usually you're pretty ready though, so.
Yeah, yeah.
That, your timeline usually speeds up as
We're
you.
making the move.
Yeah, do we want to put CPA preferred, I guess, or we're open to someone who's not a CPA? Or?
I'm going to ask Joe.
Yeah.
He's been doing it so well, so we'll ask him what his feedback is.
I mean, I think the New York.
He's got to have finance.
I think the New York State requirements are pretty vague, and just have to have
Okay.
some knowledge of finance, but I mean,
Well, we'll meet with Joe, Peter, and I, and we'll come up with something, and the board can consider it. And if you want to tweak it out, tweak it out.
Appreciate it.
It's good that you-
Okay, great. Moving on to, regular business. Do I have a motion to approve items number 1 through 46, with the exception of, item number 22, which we'll do a roll call? Mr. Morrissey, second, Mr. Garcia.
President, at this point in time, introduced from the floor addendums 47, 48, 49. Addendum 47 will be settlement agreement and general release. Be resolved that the board president is authorized to execute the settlement agreement and general release executed by employee number 01789, the terms of which have been reviewed by the Board of Education in executive session. Number 48, addendum memorandum of agreement, donation of sick leave. Resolved that the Plainedge Board of Education approves a memorandum of agreement between the Plainedge Union Free School District and the Plainedge Bus Drivers Association to allow transportation staff members to donate sick hours to employee number 02814. Number 49, stipulation of settlement, PGA Mechanical Inc. Resolved that the Plainedge Board of Education approves stipulation of settlement between PGA Mechanical Contracts Corporation, which is reviewed by Ingham and Smith LLP, and authorizes the board president to execute the same. And as amended, items number 1 through 49 minus roll call vote of number 22.
Do I have a motion to, move forward with that?
So moved.
Mr. Garcia, second, Mrs. Versace, all in favor?
Okay, all in favor, motion passed as amended.
So with item number 22, I'm going to read it and then Mrs. Ryan will do the roll call.
Yep.
Guys, this is approval for library bond vote, whereas section 26010 of the education law provides that the Board of Trustees of a public library shall have the power to require that the Board of Education call, give notice of, and conduct a special meeting for the purpose of authorizing the financing of a library building project therefore. And whereas the Board of Trustees of the Plainedge Public Library has adopted a resolution so directing this Board of Education and duly provided same to this Board of Education. And whereas it is now desired to provide for the calling of such special meeting, the submission of a proposition for the approval of said library project and for other matters in connection with said meeting. Therefore, be it resolved by the Board of Education of the Plainedge Union Free School District, Nassau County, New York, as follows. Section 1, a special school district meeting in and for the Plainedge Union Free School District, Nassau County, New York, shall be held on October 7th, 2025, at the Plainedge Public Library at 1060 Hicksville Road, North Massapequa, New York, and the polls shall be kept open for voting between the hours of 9 o'clock a.m. and 8:00 PM prevailing time on said date. The proposition hereinafter set forth in the notice of said meeting, attached hereto as Exhibit A, and hereby made a part hereof, shall be submitted thereat. The school district is hereby directed to publish such notice in the official newspapers of the school district in substantially the form provided in said Exhibit A in accordance with the requirements of the applicable provision of education law and with such edits as council may require.
Of the adoption of the foregoing resolution was duly put to a vote on roll call, which resulted as follows. Mr. Bayroody,
Yes.
Mr. Morrissey,
Yes.
Mr. Auer,
Yes.
Mr. Garcia,
Yes.
Mr. Pascarella,
Yes.
Mr. Ponticello,
Yes.
and Mrs. Versace.
Yes.
Thank you.
I'd be remiss if I don't mind. I'd just like to introduce Mr. Dennis Ricci. He's the Assistant to the Superintendent of Academic Services. Today's his first day on the job. Welcome, and we look forward to working with you, and thank you for being here with us tonight.
Moving on to item number 6, Plan Edge, opportunity for board members to present on attendance, participation at school and or community events.
I'll start. I had the pleasure of going to both the middle school and the high school graduation this year. And as mentioned earlier, the schools really did a fantastic job giving the kids a really nice send-off. And I specifically wanted to commend Mrs. Malloy for running a tight ship. I've run graduation myself, but it's not an easy task. And she did it seamlessly, so kudos to her and her whoever else helped her.
I also, Dr. Selena has mentioned it a number of times, it's a very busy time of the year. I had to check my calendar just to see what actually happened between the last board meeting and today. I also was able to attend the high school graduation, really wonderful evening. The John H. West fifth grade moving up ceremony also, obviously very personally important to me, but in general, more generally, a very nice event as well. Congratulations to all the teams for wrapping up their spring seasons across the team sports, and best wishes to parents like me who are now going into travel season. So.
Anyone else?
If you list all the things you went to in June, we could be here till 10:45, and I'm thinking we might beat it tonight. So I'll just say everything was run really, really well, from the awards nights to the graduation, certainly. None of that happens without staff that really puts everything they have into it, including custodians and aides and everybody else. First high school graduation, I think since my brother graduated, I'm pretty sure, which was at Hofstra also. And it is special to get that one last kind of handshake as they run out. It's Plainedge staff should be very proud at how many of the kids looked you in the eye, shook your hand with a nice firm handshake, and continued down the line. So that was nice to see.
So with respect to one particular item, my 3 oldest were able to volunteer for Challenger over at, I forget where I dropped them off. Oh, at Pickens.
As long as you remember.
I was gonna say Washington Avenue Park, but I realized it wasn't there, it was Pickens. I picked them up too. It's the weekend and I'm everywhere on the weekends, as the father of 6, obviously. So, but that's a great program that's put together. And unfortunately, I wasn't able to attend because again, I'm running around, but I heard that they had a special guest, Dr. Selena showed up. So I appreciate that and the support that he showed towards that program. And then pre-K moving up, I was able to attend the one that my son was at, which was nice. He's the last one to move up, and that's the plan, to keep him as the last one. So that was done really well.
You pick a car.
Yeah, no, that's it. I'm done buying new cars. But again, a nice job done by those individuals who put that together. And I just want to echo the comments about Mrs. Malloy and the great job she did. This is my second graduation. There were slight tweaks between last year and this year. And I have to say, those small differences made a huge difference, I think, in terms of how the ceremony proceeded. I think she did a really good job and it went really smoothly. So I just want to thank her for the outstanding job she did. So that's about it.
If I could just add one comment onto that. So that was a very special, this weekend on Sunday, that was a very special opportunity to support a man that has been really a figurehead in this organization of Plain Edge Pride. So Mr. Dougherty had called me up and explained to me that, they were going to be, if you're not familiar with Marty Sesente, Marty, it basically was the heart and soul of that program. He basically, when I first came here, he came to me, he goes, when we're starting something really new, he goes, everybody needs representation. We want our kids to play. We want our kids to have a good time. We want them to feel appreciated. And that was the beginning of really Challenger Sports. He was really one of the founding members. And Marty has always been a friend to Plain Edge since I met him. And when I heard about that, I was pretty honored. I came down and I saw Marty and I saw the kids. Many of them are all our kids. But I want to compliment Marty. I haven't posted about it yet. I haven't had a chance to because I really became quite emotional. He's been doing this for 15 years. His biggest concern is obviously who's going to carry the torch. We need more people involved with this. And I told him that I would spread the word, obviously, for those people looking to function, participate with Plain Edge Pride. But he has a heart of gold, that man, and he has gone up and above Plain Edge baseball, supporting him all the way. And he's just really been a great friend and a good soul, to the children of Plain Edge. So I want to compliment Marty, and it was my pleasure and honor to be there to represent the district, but also to, wish my friend, congratulations on a beautiful plaque that they gave him. So I thought it was very fitting, and, he was pretty emotional himself about it. So it was really fabulous opportunity for us to get out, to be able to recognize someone from the Plain Edge community that has been doing something for 15 years out of the goodness of his heart. And he has touched so many families and so many children's hearts. So Marty, keep up the great work. And, those people looking to get involved, contact Plain Edge Pride, Plain Edge Baseball, and get involved. Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else has comments? No? Okay. New business, there's no old business, and moving on to informational reports. Any questions by the board on any informational reports? No? Okay. Moving on to opportunity for public comment. All comments are directed to the Board of Education President. We ask that each speaker kindly limit their time to 2 minutes. And we ask that you please use the microphone and clearly state your name. Mic is open.
Oh, yeah, thank you. Hi, Ms. Bravery, how are you? I'm Amanda Sparrow. I know you did, James Sparrow. You did respond to my email last week. I appreciate it. We sent another email today only because our situation is pretty time sensitive. So we just figured we'd come here tonight and try to get a little more information or, talk to you guys a little bit. So we sent in all of our information for our son Dylan for the lottery for the pre-K program. I submitted everything the day it was due, probably end of December or whatever it was. His birthday is October 26th, so he's real late. And I sent everything in. Last year I had called, I think it was Cynthia Ambrosio. I just kind of,
No employee names.
sorry. I called the registrar to get some more information because we had made the decision to hold him back. He received speech services. Emotionally, we just do not feel that he is ready at all to do the pre-K due to the fact that his birthday is so close to the deadline. At that time, I had said we were going to hold him back. I asked if he could do the pre-K 2 years in a row. She informed me that they weren't allowed to do that. So we decided to send him someplace else this year.
He isn't enrolled in it for 2 years. This will be his first year.
Right, this is going to be would be his first year. He was accepted into the lottery. I went to the orientation. He had his screening. And then I received a call on June 25th that due to a clerical error, he was no longer able to attend, I guess, because apparently the district does not allow students who are close to the age of kindergarten to not attend.
Yeah, one of the other things too was it doesn't say anything about ineligibility for him too. So all the documents and stuff that we read said anything that if he's 4, he meets all the age requirements for whatever he's going into, whatever grade. So we didn't think it would be a problem. It doesn't say anything for any exclusion for any of the kids where, he wouldn't be accepted, other than for the parents.
And due to the fact that the information was given to us on June 25th so late, I have no other alternative for him right now.
It was cutting it kind of close too for us as far as getting him into something. We were hoping, like I said, we started this process and now we're a few weeks before the school year even starts that, you know,
Right,
the options, so.
So I'm
I'll
gonna
take
turn it over to Dr. Selena, to take us over.
I know that you've met with my staff before and they've informed you about the eligibility for the pre-K program. The
I'm sorry?
Education Department, it clearly defines what the eligibility requirements are. I'm not going to discuss your specific child's instance at this point in time. You can follow up again with our Curriculum and Instruction Department. The board cannot supersede eligibility according to New York State education law. That's not under the purview of the superintendent or nor you do have a seat available in kindergarten that you've been offered at this point in time where your child is appropriately aged. But at this point in time, the option is, the ineligibility component that you spoke about is yes, in accordance with New York State Ed.
Right, I just couldn't find that anywhere though.
Well, we did, and it was shared with you actually where it was as far as the information itself.
No, actually, it was 151-1, I believe I was given. It doesn't actually say anything in that particular place about
I have
any
to,
age requirement.
I can't talk about it any further with you. I do appreciate you coming down and sharing your concerns with the board. At this point in time, if you have additional follow-up that you'd like to have, please feel free to contact Dr. DiPaola. She'd be happy to entertain anything you'd like to share with her.
Thank you.
Thank you for coming this evening.
Good evening. Good evening, everyone. Perry Fuchs, President, Planning Federation of Teachers. Nice to see everyone tonight. Just a couple of things. I wrote some thoughts down. Congratulations, first off, to Mr. Auer, Mr. Ponicello, and Mr. Versace, who won their elections this year. Congratulations to Mr. Beirudi and Mr. Morrissey on your respective elections to President and Vice President. Leading is very difficult. I know firsthand how difficult it can be, even more so when it's voluntary in nature. So I wish you, of course, the highest level of success for the school year, keeping in mind that your success is the kid's success and the teacher's success. So our union, which represents 289 teachers and 51 teaching assistants, wish you the best of luck in all your important decisions this year. As I look around the room, I see a lot of new faces. So I felt there was one other thing that I needed to mention tonight, and that's something, again, that I point out sometimes that are overlooked very quickly, like our contract that was in the last that board. People overlook these things very quickly, but they're important. One thing that happens important tonight is the oath that you guys just took to uphold the constitutional laws of New York State. One that is that our union is most interested in is the Taylor laws, which govern the relationship and actions between the Board of Education, the administration, and our union. Outside of our number one objective, our union's number one objective, is stated very clearly in our Constitution, is to advocate for what the children of Plainedge need. Our number two objective is to enforce all applicable Taylor education laws and, of course, our contract. Our union is always watching very closely the actions of the Board of Education. And as president of our union, I ask you to please be very mindful of our contract and applicable laws. If they're all respected, I can assure you that we will have a very positive relationship that will yield much fruit. So as I said before, this board's success is everyone here in this room's success. And I say thank you for taking on this enormous responsibility and wish you all luck in your decisions. Enjoy the summer, everyone.
Anyone else?
Hi, everybody. First time in 7 years I've been on this side, but I wanted to congratulate you, Kat, and I wanted to take a minute to congratulate you, Mike, and you, Ken, on your term. As I valued it so much in my term, I look forward to seeing you guys. I would also like to congratulate the Plainedge School District for being in the 30 best high schools, as we were ranked top academic institutions that I just read about, and I'm very proud of that. And I also want to mention that this week I had a meeting with
Nassau County administrators. And they actually pulled me aside and were asking me how we have such a state-of-the-art facility. And they asked me how I can specifically about the public use of the athletic center. So Dr. Selena, if it's okay, I'm gonna give you a call so I can share their names with you, because they're very interested in learning at how we do what we do here in Plainridge. And I was very proud to be a part of it, but I don't think it's proper for me to answer at this time.
Thank you
So,
very much. Yep.
thank you.
Happy to speak with anyone.
Thank you. Good luck to everybody.
Thank you. Thank you.
Anyone else? No? Okay, I'd like to make a motion to adjourn the meeting. Second? Garcia, all in favor?
Who made the motion?
I think I said so moved.
So, Joe made the motion. Who's second?
Thank you.
Second, sorry.
I got weird.
All in favor?
Okay, all in favor, motion carried.
Thank you.